Hey, welcome to another episode of beersandbars.com. Today we're coming to you from Anaheim. We're at the Wyndham Garden in Anaheim. Uh, Took a quick break in the middle of the week to spend a couple of days at Disneyland and just chill. It's always better during the week because it's a lot less crowded. You get better rates and just, less crowded, like I said. But while I'm here and whenever I have the opportunity, I'd like to do a couple beer reviews, and I'm gonna do a couple tonight. And the first one, which I'm gonna do, is an offering from Dogfish Head Brewery, which was recently purchased by Boston Beer Company, the makers of Samuel Adams. But today we're talking about slightly mighty low-cal IPA. Now, if you notice, there's a trend with the craft beer marks where they're getting into lower ABVs. Type beer because when you think craft beer, you think of the craze of the double IPAs, which was higher in ABVs. But recently, you've seen a lot more of the session IPAs, which come with the lower IPAs. Right now, there's a craze with seltzers coming out, and next after this, I'm gonna do a review on Mural, which is agua fresca, uh, mixed with beer, which is a really low ABV. And I think also another reason is that craft beer is trying to compete with the so-called healthier beer with the low carb and the keto craze and the low calorie craze. So people tend to think that when it comes to craft beer, you're drinking high calorie, high carb beer. But you know, so I think Dogfish Head is trying to jump on that wagon and trying to offer an offering here with the Slighty Mighty local IPA. Now, actually, if you keep reading, it says India Pale Ale brewed with monk fruit extract. Now, did a quick search on monk fruit, and it's a monk fruit is grown in China, and it's actually 20 times sweeter, or the monk fruit juice is 20 times sweeter than any other fruit. And the low calorie sweetness comes from naturally occurring antioxidants inside the beer. Now we're talking about the low calorie and low carb. This one is 3.6 carbs and 95 calories. So this is definitely a beer that you should definitely enjoy at a barbecue for dinner. You could have a few and not feel too bad about it. Maybe enjoy it during the week. Let's go ahead and see how it pours. Now they do say it's psychological. Our eyes automatically, in this case, it's true. But when we see a lighter beer, we think low calorie, and when we see a darker beer, we think higher calorie, higher ABV. But in some cases, the color of the beer has nothing to do with the ABV or the calories. But in this case, um, because it is, well, not because, but it just is lighter, and it just happens to be a low calorie and a lower carb type beer. As expected from a pale ale or an IPA, there is that citrus scent from it. It did have a nice head that's quickly dissipating. Um, has a bit of carbonation, slightly clear, but there is a little haziness to it. You definitely get that citrus backing to it. It doesn't have a lot of bitterness. The bitterness it does has quickly subsided. Not really a lot of bitterness. It doesn't give you, um, and I know it's not a real IPA because I don't know if anybody else has this. But whenever I drink IPAs, even though I love them, I tend to get a slight headache, not anything major, but just a slight headache, and it could be from the hoppiness of the beer. But in this case, no headache. This is my third one. Yeah, the bitterness that comes at you at first really dissipates, subsides, doesn't linger, um, but it's really smooth, really subtle taste to it, a little subtle citrus backing into it, and it's pretty good. I definitely would drink this again. It's a beer that'd be good, especially if you're having a barbecue or something like that, or maybe you're trying to bring somebody who's used to regular type beers, or what do you call them, widely made beers, instead of get them into the craft beer game. Maybe this one would be a nice introduction. It's not too overwhelming, but it still gives you a preview, and then it would let the newly craft beer drinker know which way they'd like to take it. You know, which notes they would prefer to taste, which would like to increase, or if they're just a type of light beer drinker. And I believe there's going to be a lot more options, especially now that Dogfish Head is part of Boston Beer. Because what Boston Beer does, it brings you the different styles, but it doesn't go hardcore with any styles. I drank a sour the other day, um, from Boston Beer, and it was slightly sour, but not a sour that you're accustomed to, especially ones that are truly sour that make your face scrunch. Um, so we'll see. Hopefully, Dogfish Head will continue to bring us unique beers, but I'm also thinking that they'll also bring some some beers to market that are for the masses and not just necessarily a hardcore craft beer drinker. And that could be a good or bad thing. I don't know either way, but you know these companies are here to make money, and even though it'd be nice to always have the most unique ingredients, sometimes it's not cost worthy, and sometimes it just doesn't span the mass market that it wants to reach. So I don't know if you call that selling your soul or just reaching more people, and then maybe they'll get into your more unique beers. And maybe that's the thing. If Dogfish Head continues to make unique beers, but at the same time they make uh, more beers that appeal to the masses, then you know maybe you appeal to both parties. But in this case, in this one, the slightly mighty local IPA is really good, and I would definitely encourage you, if you come across it, to purchase it. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching another episode of beersandbars.com here on YouTube. And if you like what you saw, please subscribe, share it with your friends, and let me know what you think. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't done so already, have a great beer. Thank you.